They said, then why are you being humiliated in front of this slave? That if a person was to look at him, he would look down upon because of his physical appearance. But as we know, that even rulers were humiliated in front of this black man. In this point, inshallah, there's something important. I want to highlight the status of Ata ibn Abi Rabah, his manzila. As we mentioned earlier, Abdullah ibn Umar, some group of people from Mecca came to him and they asked him some questions. And he said to them, you gather around me, one amongst you is Ata ibn Abi Rabah. And my brothers, that's a praise from a Sahabi like Abdullah ibn Umar, who's also one who's knowledgeable himself, who could answer that. But he referred the people to Ata ibn Abi Rabah. Also, it was mentioned that they said about Ata ibn Abi Rabah, that they said, I have not seen anyone except from these three in their seeking of knowledge, except that they won the face of Allah. And the three that were mentioned were Ata ibn Abi Rabah, Tawus ibn Kaysan, and Mujahid ibn Jabr. These three. It was said about them that if you used to, I have not seen anyone in their seeking of knowledge wanting the face of Allah. Does that mean no one else was seeking the face of Allah? It's a form of praise. The other people were, but it's to show how much effort they were putting in. Imam al-Shafi'i rahimahullah, he mentions ليس في التابعين أحد أكثر اتباعا للحديث من عطاء. That from amongst the tabi'een, there's no more striving in implementing the narrations of the Prophet ﷺ than Ata. Imam Nawawi rahimahullah, he mentions that the scholars have unanimously agreed on the authenticity of Ata ibn Abi Rabah in terms of his virtue and in terms of his status, that the scholars have all unanimously agreed upon this. What this shows us, my brothers and sisters, is that Ata was one that other scholars recognized. And sometimes there can be an issue in today where an individual says to himself, and we hear this a lot, I'm not sure who to take from, I'm not sure if this person's reliable, I'm not sure this, I'm not sure about that. My brothers and sisters, from the life of Ata, first of all, we can see from his teachers who he took from, that he was someone reliable. He took from a reliable source. He said, I met 200 companions. So if you want to know if someone's reliable, you look at his teachers. And from another sign is that other scholars and other great people who are reliable also praise them. So also, it's an indication that someone who's considered a scholar, someone who's considered reliable, if he gives praise to someone, and other great scholars like that give praise, then it's another indication of the authenticity of this person. So when you are one who's going, or one who's confused and you're not sure, then look at the teachers of that individual and look who praised that individual. And not only that, what is that individual saying? Because sometimes it is possible that there are those who took from reliable teachers, but then they themselves went off the path. And so it is upon us to look at what the person is referencing in terms of the statements that they give, in terms of what they say. Are they ones that call to themselves? Are they ones that give reference to weak narrations? Or are they ones that have authentic narrations, but the extraction of that is not on the understanding of the previous generations? All of these are signs for a person to be alert. And Ata ibn Abi Rabah, as we see, he himself, the source was correct. Not only that, people recognized that, and not only that, even the reference that he used to give was one that was authentic. It was said that people came to him and asked him some questions. So Ata ibn Abi Rabah, remember, we said that in Mecca, Hajj time, no one's allowed to give verdict except Ata ibn Abi Rabah. With all of this virtue and all of this knowledge, a group of people came to him and asked him a question. And he said, La adri, I don't know. Then they said to him, why don't you just give a verdict from your own view? Meaning give us the answer, but from your view. Then he said something amazing. He said, I don't want it to be that a group of people take my view as a deen. Look at that. He said, I don't want it to be that a group of people go and take my view as a religion. And unfortunately, we see some people who have taken views of certain individuals as a deen. And they base those people's love and hatred, their love and hatred is based upon the view of a single scholar or a group of few scholars. So Ata ibn Abi Rabah, with all of this greatness, he said, La adri. And I don't want it to be that people take my view as a deen. So subhanAllah, brothers and sisters, be ones that are alert in terms of their references, in terms of who they take from, in terms of what they take from. And not only that, inshallah, all of that, my brothers and sisters, it comes down to, as we mentioned previously, and emphasizing again, that knowledge is for you to get closer to your Lord. It's not to distance you from your Lord. So if you see yourself learning and you're not getting closer to your Lord, then take a step back and ask, where am I going wrong? It shouldn't be a means for you to stop. A person shouldn't say, I'm not sincere in my learning, so I'm going to stop. That's a trick of shaitan. Because some of the Salaf, they used to say, we used to natlub al-ilm, we used to seek knowledge for other than the sake of Allah. And then knowledge refused to be sought except for the sake of Allah. So you should strive and continue learning. But along that journey, correct these mistakes, inshallah. A person's appearance may be one which is not appealing to you, but you don't know the relationship between him and Allah, or her and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Hey guys, I really hope that you benefited from that video. Before you go, I want to ask you a really important question. Have you guys ever thought about studying Islam and seeking knowledge? If not, then I want you to reflect upon this hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Prophet said that seeking knowledge is obligatory upon every single Muslim. Of course, that doesn't mean you have to be a scholar, but you have to know the basics in order for you to be the best possible slave and worshipper of Allah that you can possibly be. So we decided to provide a solution for this. You see, many people want to study, but they don't have the means or the resources to do so. So we set up an online institute called the Knowledge College, where you can study Islam from the comfort of your own home. So if you want more information on the Knowledge College and you'd like to sign up, go to the link below, check out the website, and hopefully we see you on the other side. Assalamu alaikum.